Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. In this episode, we are going to look at sharing your files. So I'm going to log in here. All right, log in. Okay, so there we go. Now, there's a share mode here going on. Currently, if it shows this icon, it means it's not shared by anyone, only the user can see that item. So, not shared, you can see when you hover on it, it says that. Here it says shared to public, here shared to specific users. Okay, so we need a way to change this mode, and the way it knows what mode it is, if we go to our table here, we can see that it's the share mode column here. It's either 0 for not shared, 1 for shared with certain individuals, and 2 for shared with the public. I'm not even sure what's what. Let's look at new document. New document we know is a 2. So what does that mean? So new document is here, new text document, and it means shared to the public. Okay, so 0 is not shared, 1 is shared to certain people, and 2 is public. That way, when somebody finds your link to a file, they can the system can check if they have access or not. So definitely, if they're not the owner of the file and it's a 0, then it's not shared with them. So we can dismiss any attempts to download that file. And then if it's 1, we need to check if they are part of those people that we are given rights. And if it's 2, we just ignore the checks altogether because we know everyone has access. All right. So with this in mind, let's create the UI first, because of course the UI comes first. So here, what I want is when I right click and click share, it should bring up a the same way it brings up this new folder thingy when I open the folder here. When I want to create a new folder here, I want the same thing to happen when I want to share a file. Okay, so let's get into it. So what we can do is just copy whatever is happening on the new folder front here, and then just change a few things, right? So there's a share icon here, which we can copy from, so no problem. So let's go to our index.html and let's look at where all the models are. The models are down here. Let me zoom out before the JavaScript, right? So let's move up a bit. Let's see here, models right here. So there's a sub menu, that's great. And then there's a start new folder model right there. So this is the one we need. So come down here and it ends over there. So we just need to duplicate this guy, and that's all. So let's duplicate, boom. And of course, let's change its name. So it's a new folder model, but start, let's call it the share model. So JS new folder, JS share, like that. I don't know if this is good enough. Maybe we should put model at the end. Anyway, for as long as there's no other item with this thingy there, this name, then we are good. So let me change all references to this. Let's see. Any other references? No. So we're gonna do share like that. Okay, pretty good. I think that works as intended. Now, if I go to share, there's this icon name, which is share fill. So I'm gonna copy that. And here where it says new folder, instead of new folder, we're gonna say share share file, and let's put the correct icon there. That's great. Now instead of having this input over here, the button here is not save, it's, yeah, we can leave it at save, that's fine. Instead of action new folder, it's share, we're going to call it share file, like that. Okay, what else do we need to change? So instead of this input over here, I'm going to have some let me put some divs here. So I'm going to put a div, actually a label is better. So label, open and close. So this one will have an input of type radio, because only one of them can be activated at one time. I'm gonna name this one JS, wait, doesn't really matter. The point is that I need to have the same name for all of them, so that if I select the others are deselected automatically. So here we're going to say not shared, and this one will be, let's give it a value. The value will be 0 if it's not shared. Alright, so here let me put a break tag like so, and then let's do some copies now. So there we go, copy. The input though could have the link to the file. So this one, share input, can have a link to the file. So name here will be link. We don't need that name, we just really need a value here. This is for the user to see, so we're gonna do value like so, and we need to put something here. Now the thing with this model is that once it loads, it depends on the file that we are currently selected. That's what will tell us what to put in the value here, because each file has an individual different link, so we have to be able to sniff that information and put it here. So shared to specific people, and here we'll say share to public. Better English there. Okay, so don't share to specific people, share to public. And then here we're gonna put 1, and there we're gonna put 2. Alrighty then, looks great, right? So let's see how this looks in reality. Now we need also to be able to bring it to life. So let me see the add folder button. So I'm just gonna, maybe it's called new folder. There we go, new folder. Now let me find instances of that. I want to find the on-click listener. So there it is. So I'm gonna grab that, and this will go to the sub menu, because that's where we click the share button, right? So I'm gonna put it right there. On click, show share file. Okay, so there we go. Now there was, inside action, there was something called show, what was that? Show new folder. There it is. So that's the function I want to copy from. So what I would do is duplicate this, Ctrl Shift D. I don't need this comma there. So show share file, that's what we're calling this one. Okay, so here all we need to change is the reference, that's all. JS share, blah blah blah, the input So we have a way to grab the input, which is nice, and focus on it as well, which is nice. So let's leave that be, and let's see what's working so far. So if I right click and hit share, this is where we come to. So share file, and then there's don't share, share to specific people, or share to public. And then we would have a link in there, right? So that the user can copy the link and do whatever they want with it. Now, let's we need a few more things here. The first thing is we need to know what file we're on so that we can display the file name to the user. That way they know what file they are sharing. So let's fix a few things here. Let's go back to the model itself. Okay, gonna go here. Okay, so this I want to put inside a div. That way I can put some overall styles here and close it. I'm gonna close it here. So let's see. I'm gonna move everything over up to here. Boom. Like that. Okay. So we are inside the div, and I want to put a style and say text align left. That's one thing. Let's add some padding, 10 pixels, and also let me add a border. I think it's gonna look better. Solid, thin, and then something off-white a little bit. Okay, so that works. Here I need a label, and this one says file link. Then let me put a break tag over there. I'll put 2 break tags here. Alright, let's see those changes. Okay, I think that's better. So file link should be in there. What can we do? Maybe we can change this to a text area so that it's up to you what you want to do. I just want this copyable by the user. Do not share to space. Okay, now I need the file name over here at the top. So how do we get that? Now here there's share file, but I can put a div here to put the name in. So let me do style padding. I'll put 10 pixels again, like that. Okay, so that is the file name, and I want background color here of slightly off-white. Then I want to be able to grab that part here, so I'm going to give it a class, and it will be JS share file name, something like that. Okay, that way I can put something in there. So let's get down to business. Now there's a way we know what item is selected. It's by using this ID here. So let me just grab these 2 here, and there's probably a better version of this I could have copied, but this is all right. Okay, so let's go to our function, which is show share. Yeah, there we go. So we grab the actual box in there, and then we select some stuff in there, right? So the input, now we need to know what file is selected, right? Get selected file info. So this is how we do it. So we grab the ID from the table.selected, and then we get all the information about that item from table rows ID, like so. So that's the row we need. So for example, if let me grab this, I actually don't need to put any more variables here. So the value of the input will be something like let's see, preview.php, right? .html, and then question mark, and then we put id is equal to, and then we concatenate the slug there, something like that. Okay, and we need to know the share mode. Also, I want to grab the, so here there's an input, but I want a .js share file name, because that's what should have the file name. So here it's going to be file underscore name, without all of this, of course, just the file name. And it's not value because that's a div, so we're going to use inner HTML. And yes, so let's see just those two, what it gets us. So like this one here, let's say share. So that's what I'm trying to share. Okay, the file link, however, doesn't seem very promising. Why is that? There should be an input there. Dot value is equal to, at least it should have this in there, minimum. Okay, so let's see what's going on. Maybe there's two inputs in there. Oh yeah, there's several inputs actually. So this input thing fails because we have these other inputs, which we can't grab this one. So this one is JS share link. I think let me change it to link. Oops. Like so. Okay, so here I also need to be able to grab these ones, these guys. Now to make things easier, I'm going to put a class and say JS share share mode, and then dash, and then here I'll put a number like with the value itself. So here I'm gonna do 1 and then 2 there. That way I can use whatever value we have to grab these. Now I need also a way to grab all of these guys and set the checked value to 0. So here I'm gonna say checkbox like that, so that I have a class checkbox which I can use to, actually these are not checkboxes, these are radio buttons, so I'm gonna just call it radio. Okay, goody. So there is my function. So depending on the value, this input won't work anymore, so we're gonna do .js what is this one, share link, yeah, that's what it is, and I need that to be in focus. Okay, then what else do I, now I need to grab this specific share mode item dash, and then here we put a plus depending on the share mode itself. So I'm going to grab that and put it here. So if it's the share mode is 0, then we're going to find an item called JS share mode dash 0, which we know is there. So I'm going to do share mode right there. Okay, so dot, instead of value, it's the checked property we want, then we're going to put it at true, like so. You tell it that this one should be checked. But depending on what we had, what file, what were the settings on the previous, because remember this model is responsible for every time we right click, new settings come in, so we need to erase the previous ones to add the new ones. So if the share mode 0 in the other file was selected, Actually, this works just fine. If I check one, the others are unchecked. So I think this is going to work just fine. Okay, so let's come back and give it a shot. So if I right click and say share, it's here on do not share. And there's a link here, file link. So let's see if this link is correct. If we paste it here, nope, it doesn't look like it works at all. Oh, that's because it doesn't have the root path. Huh. Okay, so we need a root path here. How do we get the root path? Let me go to the API here. There's data type, login, success. We've never needed the root path at all. I see. We have a little problem here. Okay, let me go to the API. I'm going to add the root path here. Do I need this though? Interesting. I'm trying to think how to parse this. Okay, for now, what we're going to do inside action, we're going to just put the root path directly there. Now, why are we adding a root path? So that this thing doesn't have a relative path, because everything so far is relative to the current, because this is a link you're going to give anyone that's on the internet. So if the link starts just with preview.php, it's not going to know what domain name we're on, right? So we need to know that domain name. In our case, this is localhost/templates. But if you're online, this would be like www.yourwebsite.com. That's the part I want that's missing. So in this case, I'm going to copy what's in there in the URL, and we're going to put it here. Paste. Okay, that did not work. Let me escape. Copy that. Back here, let me paste it. Boom. Okay, so this is what I was looking for. Now instead of the index.html, it's the preview.html. Okay, so that's a full path right there. So I will remove this part here, so that root path just ends there. So that way, when I'm adding this, I can say root path plus, since the root path already has a slash, this is going to work just fine. Alright, so if I now refresh and let's right click, let's go to share, and if I copy the entire link here, let me see, this didn't seem to work at all. Let me refresh, let's try again. Something wrong. Okay, root path is unknown. I have to say action dot root path. Okay, forgot that part. So right click, share, and I think this time it worked. Yeah, because if I copy the entire link and I paste it in my browser, it actually shows me the file. So that's great. Oopsie. Share. Okay, so now I can click on one of these to change the share mode and hit the save button. Simple and straightforward. Okay, so let me select this here and then try again to see if it will come back on the correct one when I share again. Oh, and it does. Very cool. So with this now, I want us to be able to click on one of these and hit save and have it actually save. Let me try a different document here, share, and there it is. And let's see if the link is correct. Very correct. All right, very good. In the next video, let's actually make it save this and give access.